please. Get your mics ready, please.
All good.
Okay, it is 6:30 for June the 18th. This is June's Finance, Legal, and Audit Committee meeting. And roll call, please.
Anderson.
Here.
Bergery.
Here.
Mensch.
Here.
Miller.
Here.
Delar.
Here.
Rolfs.
Here.
Marcier.
Here.
Cahill.
Here.
Mayor.
Here.
9 present.
Everybody saw your your May treasurer's report. Any comments or questions about it? If none, I'll make a motion we approve it.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Cahill.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Marcier.
Aye.
Delar.
Aye.
Rolfs.
Aye.
Mensch.
Aye.
Bergery.
Aye.
Anderson.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Roll call carried.
Okay. I hadn't put J.C. Penney building on my agenda. I didn't know if there was any updates. I was hoping to get an update from Eric about the demolition engineer. I have not got that yet. Eric's gone this week.
Yeah, I don't think he's had a chance to
No.
lock in something. There was a good meeting had with the architect as far as potential of saving it. It's not as bleak as what was thought. So I think it's probably best to wait off until next month.
That's what I'm thinking too, John. So it'll be on next month's agenda. Any discussions, budget, audit, financial discussions, budget time? Any budget questions? Okay, hearing none. I plan on transferring from the general fund $200,000 into street and alley fund 6-10-9,000, and I make that motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Mensch.
Aye.
Marcier.
Aye.
Rolfs.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Cahill.
Aye.
Anderson.
Aye.
Bergery.
Aye.
Delar.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Roll call carried.
I just had one more thing. I didn't mention it last month, but I'd like to mention it now about we'd like to do the electronic recycling program again. It's very successful the last couple of years. I would like permission for me to go to the county legal meeting in the county to see if they can get half support like we did last year. Last year's, I believe, was around $6,300 as a total bill, and they split it with us. So I think it's a very successful program. Everybody asked me when it's going to happen. Right now it's scheduled for September the 9th at 9 o'clock in the morning. It's on a Saturday. And we are in their schedule.
Benny, that's September 7th.
Is it September 7th or 9th?
9th is a Monday.
Okay, 7th. Sorry.
I think that was the date it was last year.
Okay, sorry. September the 7th on a Saturday. Anybody that wants to know about what they will take and what they won't take, they can go to a website, blhcomputers.com, to look to see what they will recycle. There are some things that they won't accept. So if the people like to know what is accepted, blhcomputers.com.
And they only accept anything electronic related, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there are some things that they won't, but they take quite a bit. Very successful every year, and people are, like I said, people are very anxious to get it going. So I will approach the county's finance board to get their approval for half. That's all I got. Anybody else for any other inquiries for
I do.
finance, legal, and audit? Jenny?
I have a quick question. It was brought up online about the intergovernmental agreement that was signed. There was a copy of it online. And my recollection was that we never gave a final vote for a full amount before it was signed. I didn't see it in any of the minutes. Shouldn't that have come before the full council to be completely approved? before
Yeah,
it was signed?
technically, yes. And I think I saw a screenshot where it was mentioned highly illegal. Well, I talked with Joe, and I actually was out to you with the state's attorney. I said, no, that's not the case. But yeah, technically correct. We had approved that, the split as far as our services in kind, as far as doing the restoration. And I think Lauren brought that up, and I'll go here in a little bit, but that was in committee. And we talked about the actual cash outlay that we would have of 16.5. It came to 67, split that in the middle. I've got it on next week to get the final approval. And then in our last full council meeting, we approved the 16.5 payment. So we'd had everything approved. And I could have swore we did a straw poll saying, are we okay? Because I think we were trying to get what we were going to do to the county, because they needed to know what we were going to do. And I took it on the behest that on the straw poll we did, that we were good to go. So technically a mistake, but it's a correctable one. And I appreciate you bringing that up. Thank you.
I believe that was brought up in my April council meeting, and we voted to move forward with the, so it was 50,000 for the county's contractor and about 17,000 for the road crossing. So come to 67,000 total. So we split that in half. So the county's portion ended up being 33.5. Our portion after the road crossing was 16.5 to their contractor, and then we provide the road crossing. So that was voted.
It was discussed, but I didn't believe that the full amount had been voted upon in actual council. So I just wanted to find out exactly where we were on that.
Yeah,
That's all.
like I said, the full amount with our restorative work, that was discussed in the committee, and basically, like I said, a straw poll was for the most part approved, and then we approved the actual cash outlay. So
John, is that gonna be on next?
yeah,
on full
we'll go
council?
through the motions, but
Okay,
when I talked to city legal and the state's attorney said no, it wasn't highly illegal. So
okay.
a little dramatics.
That'll be on full council next week.
Yep.
Okay, any other inquiries for finance, legal, and audit? Anybody?
I had two things in your mailbox. I had printed out or emailed, and Kathy printed out, put everybody in there, my version of what I recommend for a dumpster ordinance that did not include anything putting the onus on the business owners. It's single page, it's in here. People want to review that. If we wanted to discuss that, send it off to legal if we had to, but that's
Okay.
more along the lines Mayor had asked if I would provide, and I did.
Yeah, the one from the other city, if you could provide that too, I
Well,
think
that's
that'd
what
be
this
good.
is. I just took their city out, and
Oh, it looked like it had been
I just
retyped.
changed the names, that's all.
Okay.
So,
So
Well-
we have ordinances, potential ordinances to review and talk about next month. Is that what you want to do, Scott?
I'm just saying is I would say that yes, if we're actually gonna move forward on what would be a dumpster ordinance, there's that.
Okay.
So, and I passed out tonight, I know that we've had discussions up here before in regards to the gas-powered bicycles, e-bikes, all of those, back and forth with the police chief and how we can't do anything. Well, I've presented the ordinance that was passed by the Village of Milford just this past month.
Okay.
So I think everybody should look that over, and I think what they've done is pretty good.
Hey, Scott, can you tell me the name of the city? I'd like to call the mayor. This is on the trash receptacle, and then just see how it's working. Can you give me
I'll
that?
go back and look again. I don't remember off the top of my head, but no problem, yes. I'll
Okay.
get back.
You can just call that into Kathy, or I don't know if you have
Yeah,
my
or send an
cell,
email to
just
mayor again.
text it to me again.
Either way,
Okay.
Okay, anything else, Scott?
I don't think so.
Jenny?
Nope, I'm
Don?
good now.
Scott M? Don? Brandon? Dennis? Nope. Johnny?
Okay.
Okay. I make a motion and we adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Ready, Kathy?
Yeah.
I'll call the order the June 18th Public Works Water Wastewater Committee meeting to order, if you would, please.
Cahill.
Here.
Baragry.
Here.
Mensch.
Here.
Miller.
Here.
Delar.
Here.
Anderson.
Here.
Marcia.
Here.
Rolfs.
Here.
Mayor.
Here.
9 present.
No public comment? Okay. Public Works report, Lauren?
Good evening. So a few things to update. Our test wells that were approved, talking with Peerless, they've got us on the schedule for July pending our land agreements. We received them this week through legal and, hoping to get those out to landowners tomorrow to start that discussion. Hopefully we can get those signed off by the end of this month. Very hopeful, but I'm hoping to start test well drilling in July. I provided a quote for well 11. So it's been a little bit of a back and forth with our SCADA integrators on getting well 11 programmed and to run in automatic mode. That was outside of the well contract. The well drillers, they did the electrical and drilling installation of the well itself. So this proposal is for $7,075. That is for the communication cable between VFD, the variable frequency drive for the well, and our PLC. So that's 2 days on site of programming the PLC, the local computer, and then programming on the back end to where it alternates well 10 and 11. Unfortunately, we need this. There's really no workaround. This originally started at about $15,000 quote, and I've been going back and forth with some discussions on switching integrators because I wasn't impressed with the $15,000 price. So this is where I've got it is $7,000. Unfortunately, we've invested a lot of money with Metropolitan before my time. I think you guys switched to them in about 2020 or 2021. Switching over the SCADA system with them. So I think it's a fair price at $7,000. Unfortunately, it's costly to do any programming. So I need approval to either approve this or look at different integrators, but unfortunately switching integrators, you're going to spend $100,000 to switch over, and you're really not going to gain much at this point. So
And this equipment's all in well 10. There's no extra wiring that needs to be added in
it's
the,
just wiring
off the-
within the well house, and then this is all mainly programming.
I'll make a motion that we accept the bid for Metropolitan Pump Company for $7,075.
Second.
When you're ready.
Anderson.
Call if you would.
Aye.
Bergery.
Aye.
Rolfs.
Aye.
Mensch.
Aye.
Marcia.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Delar.
Aye.
Cahill.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Roll call carried.
Thank you for your work getting it down to 7,000 instead of 15,000.
Yeah, it's painstaking when you see high prices like that, but unfortunately, integrators feel that they have full control over you because it's hard to switch integrators. They have all the programming, things like that. I did have them send me all the programming, so we do have all that in-house, but unfortunately, that doesn't go too far. You still need software and everything, and need little technical on the back end with programming those. So the second part of that quote is if the city wanted to, we spent some money on getting our other 2 water towers onto SCADA the last couple months. A thought was brought up that if something were to happen with the East Tower, say we had to take it out of service for a long period of time, and the thought came up because, you know, talking with Milford, their tower is going down this week for repainting and rehab. Now that we have the other 2 towers on SCADA, we could switch our controls to these other 2 towers and run our wells and our booster pumps and everything off of them for telemetry. Right now, we can only run everything off the East Tower. We can see all our levels on all our towers, but we have no control. So the other part of that quote here for $3,000 $675 is to give us the ability to control our wells off of any one of our water towers, which gives us flexibility if we have a tower go down for one reason or another. So I think it's just good redundancy. So
Need a motion and a second.
Yep, I'll make the motion to do so.
Second.
Kathy, if you would.
Miller,
Aye.
Minch,
Aye.
Marcia,
Aye.
Anderson,
Aye.
Barrigree,
Aye.
Cahill,
Aye.
Delar,
Aye.
Rolfs,
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Roll call carried.
Well 6 is scheduled for cap and abandonment in the middle of July as well, once the well drillers are rolling out here to do other work. I do want to point out I had to spend about $2,500 on a booster pump at well 9 recently. We've been struggling with our chlorine residual coming out of that plant. We weren't drawing vacuum properly. So, and long story short, I had Wastewater come out because we were at wit's end. We rebuilt everything, injectors, la-di-da. They came out, we're convinced it was the booster pump. Sent me a booster pump, we installed it, that didn't fix the problem. So they came back out, talking with a few people in their company, we came to the conclusion that we had to change the orifices in the injector to draw more vacuum. And they said, well, the only reason you'd have to change that is if you had a hydraulic change. And they were wondering if we changed something with our water towers. The only thing that came to mind was the fact that we opened that 8-inch loop in the last month and a half or whatever, which probably changed our hydraulic pressures and flow in our system. So unfortunately, we spent $2,500 on a booster pump trying to resolve an issue. That wasn't the problem. The good part is we have a good pump on the shelf for an emergency situation, but I did spend that money without approval because we were trying to get the chlorine system up and going. I couldn't really wait for a council approval on that. It was more of an operational decision. But just making sure you guys are aware of money being spent. So, but so just some side effects from that 8-inch loop not being installed. The things were designed incorrectly. So distribution, not much movement on the radio installation. Fire hydrants, we started painting. That came to a stop due to staffing issues. North Street water main project, the asphalt repairs about to go out to bid. I'm gonna let Keith fill you in on that.
Yeah, the part around North Street and K Street, and then looking at the south block of 5th Street, we're right about $246,000. You guys have about 252 in your MFT account, so I'll have a resolution to Kathy for you guys to consider next week for authorization for MFT money for that project. We are also, just so you're aware, we're trying to get the two blocks we did on Mulberry last year from 7th to 9th was with Rebuild Illinois funds, the RBI funds. We're trying to get that project closed out so that the balance of the RBI money can then lower what you're paying for MFT on this one. So we're still working with IDOT on that.
The South 5th Street, does that start at Coney or a little bit north?
Just a little bit north and then all the way to the south end.
Okay.
And then pick up a little bit on Coney there where it's just off of 5th where it's, you know, to those radius points at that island there where it's pretty bad in that intersection.
Yep. That's gonna be, what, 2-3-inch mill?
3, I believe.
3?
Yeah. It's a little bit thicker on North Street because North Street already has a thicker cross-section. North Street is about 9 inches of asphalt right now, so we're not going back a full 9, but we're going back a little thicker, especially since that is a unofficial route where some trucks like to go.
The South 5th Street, and just in case anybody didn't know it, what he's talking about there is gonna be just north of Coney to Fairman South. And that's gonna have to be a mill, and there's, in the past, 3, 4, 5 years, there's been 3 sinkholes in there. They've been repaired, but that's exactly where the emergency room ambulance route is, and it just needs to be taken care of, because it's in pretty bad shape.
Plus the semis with the MRI.
Yeah, yes.
Yep.
yes.
Yeah, so that'll also include some curb work and some apron repairs there for the hospital because they're beat up pretty bad.
You're putting that back in concrete there,
The
right?
aprons, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Lead and service line inventory, no updates at this point. That was updated this year, so we'll continue that work. No movement on the grant for the Elm Street project to my knowledge, so, Keith did give me some breakdowns on costs on water main, the water main work on Elm, North Street, Jefferson, kind of a cost comparison between the city doing the work and outsourcing it. We still need to sit down a little bit and hash those numbers out a little bit better. But I think we're working on getting a proposal for the engineering still, right?
Yeah, so I'll get with you.
Yeah,
Coming up.
so still looking to continue that 12-inch water main down North Street, whether it's in-house or outsourcing it, but I think with some recent changes on some big projects, that opens up some funds and possibilities. Water main breaks, we had a water main break at 911 East Locust on an 8-inch water main recently. We're able to repair that without shutting the water down, so no boil order issued. We replaced 6 foot of 4-inch water main by K Street. That did require a shutdown, obviously, to replace the main. We had a small boil order that was lifted. That was a joint effort with IPC, and I confirmed with IPC there will be no charges from them on that project. So I'd like to thank IPC for stepping up to some of their work too.
Yeah, Lauren and I had a pretty good discussion with Mr. Tincher over there as far as, airing out some differences and stuff like that. I thought Lauren did a good job there as far as representing for the city, and I think we got some things worked out. But the other thing that I want to kind of give IPC some props about, the Martin Avenue. Keith, can you kind of approximate the differences of bids and where those came at? Because IPC did us pretty good there.
Yeah, so looking at the last couple of projects that you guys have bid out, we were close to 2.7 million, which is around where R&R construction was for that, and IPC came in about 1.8, so it was a very substantial drop from what we've seen on other projects recently in the city. So it was nice to see some competition, and it was nice to see R&R put a bid in on it, but for their availability to do that, it's really how their other projects stack up, and then they are coming from a little bit farther away, so there's some challenges logistically. But we have been, between Lauren and me, we've been reaching out to contractors Lauren's worked with in the past and ones that I've worked with, just to try to get additional interest in this area.
And this is a good representation of fair bids and multiple bids to get a comparison to see where our local contractors are falling into place. Because, there's speculations that, we don't get good prices from different people, and this shows, okay, they came at 1.8, and the other bidder was 2.7, so they came in very fair on their bid and right where we needed to be with our grant, and worked out great.
They did the city well.
Yep. Wastewater treatment plant, our new 20 horse pump that was warranted was shipped back. We installed that last week, up and running. Still working with the manufacturer on our non-potable pump. I thought that was our newer pump that we had purchased last year. That was actually purchased the year prior to me starting. They ran the serial numbers on that. They're talking about giving us about a 25% discount on rebuilding it, so that needs to get taken up north. I'll get that done soon. Really need to keep 2 pumps running there for redundancy. The non-pod is used for chlorination, dechlor system at the wastewater plant. Sanitary and storm sewers, drainage project along Walnut. I haven't had a chance to really hammer TP&W, get permitting there. Our Locust and Brown Street manhole project. We need to get that out the bid, and I think we need council approval to get that out sooner rather than later. We don't have the railroad permit finalized yet. They had some back and forth questions this week. I think Keith has been working with them, getting that taken care of. I don't think it was anything major, just some questions on a previous permit. I'd like to get this moving out even prior to get that permit. I don't see us not getting a permit to get this job done, but the sooner we can get it out the bid, the better off we'll be with pricing, I think. So, okay. No movement on our 48-inch storm sewer at Kingdon's. We're finally to some real dry weather. It'll be this week or next that we'll be back on that project. We've been playing catch up on some concrete and asphalt work this last week or so. GIS mapping, that continues. No real update there. Our LED lighting at the tennis courts was not completed. I talked to B&D Electric. He will be out next week to complete that now that it's dry enough to get a lift over there. Streets, our MFT heat and recycle project, I think it's scheduled for middle of July.
Yeah, that's Gallagher's current schedule is tentative middle of July. As we get a little bit closer, they'll let me know on that. And just so everybody in the council is aware, there's going to be a hospitality tent at Peters Park because we're coming down Sheridan, up 6th, and then down Raymond. It's a nice place where there's some off-street parking, and they'll have a little tent there with some food, and they can explain their process if anybody's interested. So as more information becomes available, I will let everybody know.
Just for the record again, could you quickly review where what streets this is going to be on?
This will be on Market Street, the entire length from Lafayette up to Iroquois, Chicago from, what's the street at the south end? It's the, I can't remember, but it's a block north of Lafayette, but that'll go all the way up to Noel, all the way up to Iroquois. And then we're doing Iroquois at the north end, and then over on the east side of Jefferson, Wabash and Virginia, the entire length. And then Sheridan, 6th, and Raymond.
So the majority of it's on the west side, correct?
The northwest side, yes.
Northwest side.
Yeah, I want to remind everybody, we tried to stay in a condensed area to reduce cost on mobilization, versus hopscotch and street to street across town.
Yeah,
you're gonna pay more to the contractor to get a mobilization across town with equipment.
Yeah, this is typically a smaller size project than what Gallagher would like to see done anyway. We're at about 36,000 square yards. They like to see a minimum of 50. So they were already coming down to do a smaller project so we could get kind of an idea in one area, but that's why we tried to concentrate them in one spot versus separating them all through town. If in the future other communities partner, or even the county or townships, and we can get a larger project, then that would give us a little more flexibility to put it through other areas of town.
And just one more time, you two went last winter and looked at different projects that had this done and at different phases, so many years. And
Recent and 7 years old, I think was 7 or 8 years
yeah,
old.
the oldest was about 7, and it does a very good job of, so when they did the main line, for example, you could see the side road where there were all the cracks coming, and then when they got to where they had done this heat in place, the crack maybe went another foot or two, but they were pretty significant on the side road where the process was not done. So it did a pretty good job of retarding those cracks, and again, that was over 7 years old.
And that was with the fog coat on some or all, or?
A lot of those were paving, where they did some asphalt over it. So, but this is definitely something that they have projects where they've done this fog coating, but they're in Wisconsin, so.
Gotcha.
As much as I would like to go visit, but
Okay.
And then the next couple weeks, Public Works will be working on our portion of this MFT project with the sidewalks. And that was the reduction of about $102,000. So, I'll let Keith update you on the Martin Avenue extension.
Things are moving on that. We've been getting shop drawings for some of the water main and sanitary portions, and I have in my inbox an email for some storm sewer. So IPC is starting to get the materials submitted for the shop drawings, which we review to make sure they conform to the specifications, and then we provide them comments or no objections, and so far everything's been good.
Is that the submittals and casters that
Yeah.
Danny was talking
Pipe,
about when we went there?
manholes, frames and lids, lighting, wiring, tracer wire, all the different components of the project. They just want to make sure that what they order is going to meet specification before they purchase it, and then find out they have to return it and get something different.
But
I
then
know I'm
there's
asking for a perfect world, but approximately ballpark, not holding you to an exact, when could that possibly get started?
Hopefully about a month if things keep moving.
Okay.
So they have some structures that have to be made at the concrete plant, so that could delay a few things. Talking with Danny Tincher last week.
What he mentioned
so,
to us.
yeah.
Yeah, there's a box culvert at the east end, and that's probably the longest lead time item. I haven't seen the shop drawings for that yet, but that's not going to stop them from starting necessarily. There's other they'll coordinate it, right? There'll
be phases to it.
Yeah,
and
they'll schedule the work to start before maybe some of the longer lead items are in, knowing when that item is going to come in. They'll have it before they get to that part of the project.
I could see them starting the dirt work in the next month. I mean, realistically, they got a lot of dirt to move, so they're going to want to do that in the dry season, and July's ideal.
Yeah, he
so
mentioned
I could see them doing the majority of the dirt work in July. Street sweeper ran full route last month, week of the 20th. It'll run again later this month. Spray patch machine's been up and running quite a bit. I think you guys probably have all seen it out and about. We still have the north side of town to hit the majority of, but we've been focused on the south side, just trying to work every street. Unfortunately, people have been calling in, and we're not hopscotching around. We've been taking it street by street. It, depending on where you live, it may take a little bit longer to see us in your neighborhood, but there's a little bit of a method there versus hopscotching around and only doing 3 or 4 a day. So bear with us, but that has been a great tool to have. So I'm really curious to see how things hold up over this next winter after potholing.
I've been getting a lot of positive comments about it.
Yeah, well, it's good. It's once we get past potholing, then we'll start doing some edge of road repairs with it, some more alley repairs, things like that. So it's more than just a potholing machine. We've put in about 25 yards of concrete between some sidewalk work, some apron repairs. We did a pad for the fire department. We still have quite a bit more concrete to do for the MFT project, so that's going to be up and going. I have recently borrowed some form boards, some metal form boards we've been utilizing. Using these form boards, I think the city should move forward eventually with purchasing our own. Right now, these are on a free loan program for a while, but this saves the cost of purchasing lumber that gets thrown away after 2 or 3 uses, and saves quite a bit of time. We formed up 160 foot of parking lot behind MediaCom in no time flat, because you're not fighting with straightening out boards and
Guys liking it?
things like that. Yeah, it was quick to work with. It's nice.
So if you're one
just
of us, are we good to let Lauren start looking into purchasing some?
So, I'm gonna look at options and get costs, but
Yep.
it's just something I want to bring to your guys' attention down the road eventually. So right now, we're utilizing some just to do trial and error and see what we like and what we don't like. But about 8 tons of asphalt has been purchased for road repairs. We still have several other areas. These are large spots that we cut out for either sewer or water main repairs. Trying to use binder to get a better road repair on the larger holes versus using the spray patch machine. We may eventually come back over and tidy up the edges with the spray patch machine. Staffing, no real changes there. I've been getting some applicants from Express, so hopefully we'll get some good hires or possible candidates here in the near future from them. Miscellaneous, the tree trimming, it'll start back up in the fall. Right now we're taking down a couple of trees this week that are dead. One got hit by lightning, another one's just dead that's out in the right of way. Second item on my miscellaneous is the vacant lot uptown. The tables are installed. They still need to be anchored down. The fence has been completed as of Friday. Looking to possibly do a screen covering, so looking at some options there. Pellegrini was looking at possibly doing some umbrellas, but unfortunately at this time his budget doesn't allow that, so.
Can I ask a question about that?
Yes, sir.
Who donated the concrete?
That would be the Rocks groups.
Really?
Yeah.
Do we need to put a letter or something thanking them?
So
together from
once
council,
we're
or-
once we're completed, we're still waiting for some murals to get put up. We're gonna put together a list of all the donations, all the people that were involved with that, and get a story put together for everybody.
I believe at 26, is that Wednesday? Am I right on that? You guys may have seen that. There'll be a dedication not only to Ted Horner, but also to the Hometown Hero banners. I believe that's at 5 o'clock. I think I have a day, but what's that? Oh, okay. So, honoring some good people up there and a good man that it's going to be named after.
So I think that possibly helps spark some other interest downtown. I've noticed a lot of improvements here recently. I want to point out
Yes,
that a lot of
I noticed
business
that
owners
too.
have really stepped up recently.
Yeah.
I think our downtown's looking pretty sharp.
It
So
does. The venue and then,
the
the
Jiffy
silo.
Lube, the car wash. I mean, I've seen, I think 5 or 6 buildings have been painted here recently. It's just really brightened things up. Looks
Yeah,
good.
there's been I've had a lot of compliments on the lot. We have a good start there, and downtown in general.
Yeah.
So,
I think sometimes a small step goes a long ways.
yeah, and kind of a snowball effect. That's what we've been talking about.
Also, did we spray for, mosquitoes?
No, we have not sprayed for mosquitoes. I haven't had any complaints. Are we starting to see mosquitoes? Yeah, okay.
Haven't seen a one.
It was pretty dry, and then I know we had a little bit of a wet spell there, so I didn't know. I haven't heard any complaints, but if we need to, we will.
I mean, no,
No, okay,
I was just wondering.
okay. There's mixed opinions on whether that really is effective or not, so.
Everything good at the pool?
And the public pool's up and going. Got a lot of good comments and feedback with the new paint job of the pool. I think a lot of people are pretty happy with things out there, and trying to put together some pool parties and, a couple free pool events. I think we're looking to do a free swim day July 5th after 4th of July, just trying to spark more interest out there.
Now, you have a concession stand inside the office, right? Kind of a concession stand?
Yes, we did last year. We're working through some things out there and trying to get that up and going again this year.
Do you need to bring some picnic tables up close to so that people
We
can
have
eat?
a couple out in front where the old concession stand building was. There's a
Okay.
concrete pad out there, so
Okay.
we have 2 or 3 out there.
Okay.
Anything else, Lauren?
That's-
Keith, you have anything else?
Next week, we're gonna have a public hearing for a potential OSLID grant for Lakeview Park. So I'll be going over that and having some handouts for that.
So
We're planning on having 2 public hearings for it, so next week before your council meeting would be one, and then possibly the Public Works next month. The applications are due at the end of August, I believe.
So we'd love to get the public out to give some feedback on some ideas with Lakeview. just to kind of start the conversation so you can spread the word. We're looking at a couple of sand volleyball courts, three more pickleball courts, utilizing the concrete pad over there that's for the ice rink that has never quite worked out due to the Midwest weather. It just doesn't cooperate. I would love to have an ice rink here, but it's just not going to work. And then a splash pad and another pavilion. So
Also a potential outdoor
Oh, yeah.
workout station. So there's if you've driven on I-57 near where I live in Mantino, they have this one unit sitting out by the interstate. That also has a grant partnership that could help contribute funds for it. So what we're looking at is an OSLID grant that is a reimbursement grant of 50% of the project costs. So if the project is $1 million, the grant would be for $500,000 from OSLID.
Part of the work that our guys can do, that can go towards our portion sharing in,
Yes, so
services,
if
right?
there's some work I would maybe recommend against, like the splash pad, just
Right.
because you have plumbing and piping, and then there's concrete with the drains, and it's maybe better to have one contractor handle all of that, because if there's something doesn't work, then you can go to that one contractor and
we would bring the water source to the pad, and we would let them do the piping under the pad in case there weren't leaks or issues. You wouldn't want fingers being pointed all around.
But for example, that outdoor fitness station, Public Works could pour the concrete pad that this sits on, and then also potentially install the equipment, which would be at a huge savings. And that actually helps part of the village's matching share for the grant. So it not only lowers the cost of the project, but it helps contribute to what you'd have to anyway for the project.
So we can stretch our grant dollars further on equipment, things like that. So,
Depending on the size of that, would that be something to put where the old ice skating rink is? My thought on it is, we have a lot of elderly that live in that complex. Putting kids' things that close to their units and their homes might be more of a problem.
no, we're not doing it there.
Okay.
The pickleball, so next week we'll present a kind of a layout for everybody, but the idea is pickleball court where the ice rink is now, sand volleyball courts along Brianna Drive, and same with the exercise equipment or the exercise pad. We're trying to keep the kids with the kids and the adult entertainment with the adult entertainment, to kind of separate everything. Plus, we figure most people don't really want to go into a park too far to go to sand volleyball, things like that. So there's parking along Brianna Drive already. It'd be an ideal, but we'll have a layout to present next week.
Yeah, and the splash pad would be down towards the south end, north of where the playground equipment is. Again, trying to keep the littler kids in one area. I know you've got the basketball, which can attract older kids, but you got the play set and put the splash pad next to it. So we'll have details on that with a couple of exhibits. I'll have handouts for everybody. And again, if you have people that you'd like to invite to come and comment or whatever, the IDNR looks highly at public community participation.
Or if there's other things people would like to see go into our parks, we'd love to hear.
definitely.
Yeah.
Here's some other ideas, absolutely.
Are you doing anything with the RV park?
We can only do one OSLID grant.
Okay. That's it for me. You got anything else, Keith?
Just real quick, I was given this today to make mention of it tonight. This is from Juanita and Randy Muller. It's a post, I guess, on Facebook. Thank you to the many people for making improvements in downtown Watsika. Thank you to the city for the facade grant. It has helped many stores take a new look. We have new businesses, new signs, new banners, flowers, and a new downtown park. And the businesses mentioned was Massey Ferguson, the Muller Building, Tanner Cahill Building, Oil Lube, Super Wash, Walnut Street Studio Sign, and Trio Steakhouse. And I'm hoping that the 2 or 3 negative individuals that's always on Facebook gets an opportunity to read this.
Yeah. One, it's kind of tough taking landscaping tips from, to be honest with you. And one, there's some work being done on the Coles building too, I noticed. So, Yeah, I've had a lot of compliments, so I want to compliment you and the others that have done some work and stuff like that. In a perfect world, hopefully we're going to have a closing soon on that last lot. I know there was a derogatory picture taken from that point. We didn't have control over it, so again, it's not
Still
knowing
don't
the
have
entire
control
story.
over the concrete
Right, we have
lot
to
up
have the
there,
closing
so.
and stuff, and then we talked about getting some painting done on this and tuck pointing. You still think that's something that your crew can do? So again, saving money there. One thing that we're looking at, some murals. There's some interested parties on that. So I said, hey, come up with a scheme. If you want to throw more ideas, I can give these folks ideas. They're just in the starting phase. But I said, we're agriculture, we're Princess Wachaki, we're Gordon Hubbard, we're Dixie Highway, we're live, again, agriculture I mentioned, but wildlife, deer, and stuff like that. So if anybody has some ideas, but there's an interested party on that. I think there's a young lady that Yame knows that might be able to do some stuff, maybe at the here lot that I'm going to call. I went ahead and contacted Nichols, told him the same thing. So if any of you guys have any other ideas, we really don't have a theme for downtown, and maybe that's something that we can kind of come up with. But as far as Nichols, as far as maybe some metalworking, I said it's got to be able to be bolted down, and this is if we can even afford it. So there's a few other steps involved with this, with approval and looking at renderings and stuff like that. And then I even talked to the wood guy that's on the curve as far as what he might be able to do up. So
I know
try to get some people involved.
Sonia is going to put something on the wall
Yes,
says
yes.
like Wasika. That actually looks really nice.
Yes, on the side of a silo, and then that car thing will be coming down. We'll have to get that put someplace. But Carol Kaufman said that there's other things that can be done there. So I know, like I said, we're building up some promotional money and stuff. It looks like we can do some good things there. Carlisle came down and originally for the historical district, and it's going to be reduced again. I think we're going to lose the, I believe it's the old courthouse out of it, since that's already a historical thing on its own. It's basically what it's going to amount to is there's going to be some other buildings coming off of Oak Street. So it looks like it's going to be primarily the business district downtown for that. And he needed some other information. If anybody has anything on transportation, social, from a historical nature, if you have stories, pictures, and all that, you can bring them into Kathy and she can get them to me and we can get them to Carlisle. That's going to help out. We have the architectural, he believes, pretty much down pat. And some of the transportation, we have some ladies working hard over at the Historical Society and at the library that we were able to get them some stuff. In your boxes, hopefully coming up after this meeting, we'll get the potential of the TIF districts. And Carlisle also did the historical structural engineering and the structural architect. And again, we're going to try and have a meeting on that and kind of get all our options weighed out. But he spelled some other things pretty good on the Opera House too, that we can put a little more clarification on things. But other than that, I believe that's all that I have. But like I said, with your guys, keep up the good work. I met the 3 young men, 2 of the high schoolers, and I think we only have 2, right?
Well, we have 2 high school boys, a high school girl, and then the college boy.
Okay. So the young lady wasn't here, but they've been doing some work up here, and I met the college, and great kids to talk to just in a short time. So I think we've done pretty well with some of this side work that we have.
I can see the pride going into them in their own hometown. So it's nice to see the things they talk about. Picking up the trash in the parks and different things like that. I'm hoping that spreads throughout the younger generation on pushing that pride and taking care of things throughout town.
Even the older generation.
I give up on them. I'm working on the other ones.
No, I had a talk with some of our guys today. I mean, some of our regular workers, and man, they're liking what they're doing and what they're learning and stuff. So It's good things for the city.
It?
Yep.
Anybody else got anything? Motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hey, Dennis.